Saudi war jets hit Sana'a and several governorates. Yemenis commemorate the second anniversary of Nuqam victims. School students complete 2 years under the war. Good evening and welcome to Yemen Today's News. I'm Ali Nasser Khamri. An official source at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs expressed surprise over the U.S. announcement regarding the continuation of national emergency with respect to Yemen. The source explained that the U.S. presidential executive order of May 2012 came under a plan made by the previous U.S. administration aimed at opening the door to take provocative and punitive action against those persons or bodies that opposes the U.S. foreign policies in Yemen, as stated in this presidential order. The source pointed out that the American administration supposed to take a courageous and humanitarian position to stop arms exports to Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, which was called by the U.S. Congress and all peace advocates in the world on several occasions. Also exert pressure to stop aggression and lift the unjust siege imposed on millions of Yemenis since 2015. The Saudi-led coalition resumed its attack on the capital city of Sana'a among heavy hovering. Local sources reported that the enemy fighters raided Attan area with one strike. The aggression jet fighters make an intensive flight over the city to scare the citizens. In northern governorate of Saada, a child was injured by new Saudi airstrikes hit Takhia area of Majaz Directorate. Previously, Saudi air jets have targeted Shada and Al-Bahir directorates with one airstrike each, as well as Perkin area of Razih Directorate. In Baqam Directorate north of Saada, the Saudi warplanes attacked Al-Majda with 2 air raids. On the same regard, Saudi border guards killed a civilian in Munabbah Western District. In Hajjah Governorate, the enemy's jet hits with an airstrike northern directorate of Abs. The Saudi war jets have launched 6 air raids on Harad and media of Hajjah Governorate during the last hours. Local sources reported that 2 airstrikes have targeted citizens' homes in Al-Fajj area of Harad Directorate, northwestern of Hajjah. The Air Force of the Saudi-led coalition resumed its raids on Taiz, according to local source. The enemy fighters also launched 4 raids on Mawza Directorate. On Wednesday, the enemy planes bombed Al-Kamb area as well as Mocha Junction Al-Wazi'iyya Directorate with 2 strikes. Today, 2 years ago, the Saudi warplanes attacked Nuqam neighborhood with an extra huge bomb which left hundreds of civilians killed and injured, besides causing destruction to public and private properties. Here is a report.
It was a miserable day experienced by the residents of the capital of Sana'a in the month of May 2 years ago, caused by the explosion of neutron bomb that was thrown by the Saudi fighters on the area of Nuqam, which led to the extensive effects and the flying of fragments of stones from Mount of Nuqam at a distance of 10 kilometers. Wailing of women and screaming of children doubled the horror of the citizen during the explosion in the area as a result of the forbidden bomb, to make the people in the capital of Sana'a experience the scenario of fear and panic in a tragic scene. The blast of the neutron bomb, as observers call it, killed more than 40 civilians and wounded more than 300, mostly children and women, as well as destroyed the homes near the tragic area and nearby the neighborhoods, causing a physical and chronic diseases to many residents of the capital. The Yemeni did not forget this tragedy, especially the horrific moment after the huge explosion, which shocked the capital. Only 20 days were the interval between the throwing of thermobaric bomb on the neighborhood of Attan and bombing the neighborhood of Nukum with a similar bomb. That increased the hatred of the Yemeni people towards the alliance countries of the aggression led by Saudi, which committed the most gruesome crimes against Yemenis with cold blood every day.
The Yemeni students have succeeded in creating great achievements, one of which is to finish their second educational seasons under the Saudi raids that have shelled their schools for 2 years. Here is a report.
Kuwait High School is doing the final exams of 2016-2017 educational season, just like other schools in Sana'a and Yemen, in a very severe situation. The absence of most teachers has slowed the education's wheel. The salaries cut of educators and all state employees has made it totally difficult for both teachers and students to go to school. However, the love of learning and teaching has been the greatest factor, helps education process work and finally meet the results of hard work by the school and students. These are no soldiers in a military base. They are the students of class 10, that is Fairest Senior High. They are the builders of Yemen's future. This beautiful atmosphere takes place every day while Saudi jets keep flying in our sky. The students come in and sit on the ground in the schoolyard. They listen to a speech which raises their spirit before going to exams rooms. Despite the injuries and suffering of all Yemeni people, the school has worked hard and done its best in accomplishing this educational season. And now we reap the harvest of the hard work. I don't understand why mercenaries of Saudi aggression has cut the salaries of educators and all state employees for 8 months. I thank Yemen today for showing our duty toward our country and exposing our suffering. The school welcomed Yemen today and thanked it for covering the suffering of all Yemeni people. Despite the brutal aggression on Yemen and the mercenaries' cut of salaries, education could work with help of volunteers and students' families. Salaries must be quickly paid. We could resist and continue this educational season with help of our dearest teachers who insist in coming and teaching, despite the cut of salaries by enemies of our country and the severe situation because of Saudi aggression. The students had a very intensive course. I thank students' families for their big support in continuing the study. The pioneers of Fairest Senior High said, although Saudi brutal aggression has tried to stop education process, it cannot work before the determination of students to learn. The students donated little money for the transportation of teachers. On the other side, the present teachers promised to do their best to meet the students' needs. They also appeal to the international organizations to quickly take a real action in returning the rule of Yemen Central Bank. I thank everyone in this school who helps study and exams continue. Education is the most important thing in our country. Saudi aggression must end and salaries must be paid. It was really a great scene watching the students running in lines to exams rooms. Nothing can hold education down, but it does not mean salaries are not needed. 8 months so far with no income. A big appeal toward bank not to keep silent. Abdel Fattah al-Mahmoudi, Yemen Today, Sana'a.
As the Saudi aggression and siege continue in suffocating the whole community, the social activities step up to reduce that planned misery. In this report, charitable corporations have distributed food supplies cards to Yemenite teachers suffering in order to keep the educational process.
All Yemeni people live a difficult situation due to the Saudi aggression war and siege, in which the teachers bear the biggest side of this suffering as a result of the economic siege and war imposed on Yemen that is aiming to fail education and planned for lost the youth generation through two past years of unjust aggression on Yemen. The solidarity of Yemeni teachers in this difficult time is one of the major factors to succeed education and to defeat the Saudi aggression. To support education and honoring the Yemeni teacher, the charitable corporation distributed food supplies cards to reduce the teachers' suffering due to the difficult condition.
فكرة البطاقة التموينية تأتي
The idea of food supplies cards come to honor the teachers and encourage them to continue the education phase, especially in this complex period Yemen passes because of the economic siege imposed on Yemen by Saudi aggression. The end of education and closing the schools means the end of life.
الحياة بالنسبة لنا كيمنيين أغلقت.
Meanwhile, the teacher praised highly the national role exerted by the charitable corporation that paid deep concern to succeed education and to help maintain the educated youth generation. Across Yemen Today channel, we call on all charitable organizations and assemblies to participate to support the education process. That charitable corporation and assemblies should work together to support education and encourage teachers to complete the educational process.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, back to today's headlines. Saudi war jets hit Sana'a and several government raids. Yemenis commemorate the second anniversary of Naqam victims. School students complete 2 years under the war. Thanks for watching and good night.
يمن تهديك المزيد تمنحك الممتع والمفيد. حمل شاهد وارسل بريد وتمتع بالعرض الجديد. رصيد فوق الرصيد.
سدد اشتراك ADSL الشهري كاملا واحصل مجانا على